One point I haven't mentioned in any of my VTuber videos was the topic of indie VTubers. VTubers that are not bound by the grasp of corporate rule. I've gotten a lot of comments on this exact topic as it's the easiest counter argument to my points. Oh, it's only the corporate VTubers who manipulate people for donations. The small independent creators aren't the scummy ones doing that. Well, that's where you're wrong. Despite the lack of corporate control, the fundamental idea is still there. This fundamental idea being facade and manipulation. How many fucking times have I said that? Now, I already know what you're thinking. Serial, how can it be indie VTubers? There's no company controlling them and telling them to manipulate us. It's just an independent creator who wishes to spread their passion with us. Let's start basic. Everyone wants to make money, especially when it requires little to no effort and rakes in the bank. For women online, that would either be whoring your body or, you guessed it, VTubing. I'm assuming most, if not all, indie VTubers saw the success of corporate VTubers and decided to cash on some easy money. Not only that, but I'm sure they have a general understanding behind the market they wish to enter. Here's a simple supply and demand curve. Now, I'm no economics expert, but you can see here that the number of simps far exceeds the number of VTubers to please them. This makes it easier for new VTubers to grow as long as they're catering to said simps. Another thing to note about simp consumers is that they're always hungry for a new VTuber to follow. I like to call this the one-sided illusionary relationship mentality. The thought process behind this mentality is that a small VTuber with less attention is more likely to recognize your donations and efforts. Honestly, it's a pretty smart move on the VTubers, I'll give them that. Now with this in mind, sure, indie VTubers can potentially start off being more grounded in reality, but they'll eventually shift their personality to whatever garners the most views and money. Now that you understand the fundamentals, it's time to look at a few examples. We'll start easy with Snuffy. Snuffy is an independent VTuber who suffers from everything I mentioned earlier and points I've made in other videos. I'm not going to go in depth, but these include her fake voice, disingenuous acting, Reddit tier Coomer humor, and her model. Holy fucking shit, her model. She gave her model a fucking breast implant just to appeal to the Coomers that much more. But Snuffy isn't actually who I wanted to focus on today. And this brings us to our second and main example of the day. An indie VTuber who left a pleasant message underneath my initial VTuber video.
Bro, VTuber here. I understand all the points you laid out, but not gonna lie, there are many independent VTubers out there who are just normal people with normal voices. I can't argue that the most popular ones are high-pitched lowlies, but we can't just criticize an entire population through just the top 1%.
Alright, listen up Kroko Kyoko EN VTuber Crow. You bring up two important points. One about minority representation and the other on independent VTubers. First off, obviously the 1% of shit VTubers don't represent the vast sea of them, but when that sea is full of sewage, it makes it pretty fucking hard to find anything of value. Secondly, about independent VTubers. After watching a few of your videos and taking a quick glance at your comments, I think it's safe to say you perfectly display everything I mentioned earlier in this video. You suffer from near identical problems as the corporate VTubers, just minus the budget. I'm taking a wild guess you were working your 9 to 5 and saw the success of someone like Calliope and went, huh, I'm a woman. I can set up a cheap VTuber rig and pay someone to make me a model. You then mix that with some band kid humor, throw in some cringy dialogue, sprinkle in some cleavage, and boom, you have yourself the attention of every 15-year-old social outcast. Exploitation is pretty profitable, eh? And I know you're gonna deny it and say it's because it's your passion, but every failed nursing student who started an OnlyFans says the same thing, so you're not convincing me otherwise. Anyways, that's all the time I got today. If you enjoyed, then feel free to subscribe, and tune in next time when I discuss my favorite VTuber corporation.